All right, what's up, everybody? All right, this is something relatively new. What's up? My name is Jon Marks. This is After Hours. Questions, comments, suggestions. A lot of times on Tuesday night, and then it gets posted on Wednesday. Delco, Steve, and I do a little, like, day after Eagles discussion. We talk about whatever else. But we're live on a Monday night, Monday. And, yeah, lot to talk about. Not a lot of time. I'm going to try to keep this to 20 minutes. Questions, comments, or suggestions. Could be about Eagles, Cowboys, Phillies offseason, inside radio stuff, my show on 97.5 The Fanatic. But you are watching this on 97.5 The Fanatic's YouTube page. Make sure you like and subscribe, comment. And I'll be putting out several of these videos a week. We will not be doing the Wednesday video that comes up because, believe it or not, when we tape it on Tuesday night, tomorrow night, I am my studio, which is in my basement. It's going to be invaded by 9, 8 to 10-year-old girls, as my daughter had wanted to do a sleepover, so she's doing a sleepover down here. So they're all sleeping in the basement where my studio is, so I will not be recording on Tuesday night. So there you go. Hello to everybody. We have Michael Haynes saying, Johnny Marks, what's up? What's up? Simmer, what's happening, pal? Thank you very much. You don't know where that comes from. In a mocking fashion, because I knew Mike Missinelli was listening on his drive into work, I got Wayne Simmons on the air, and I said, Simmer, what's happening, pal? Because Mike was the type of guy that you didn't call him by the nickname, which is silly. Maybe for Mike, he was a legitimate journalist. But I went Simmer, and Mike erupted by a text message. He fell for the bait. There you go. Elliot gave Jalen a D. Yeah, I can't go D. He looked really good in the first half. So real fast, everything with the Cowboys game, Kevin Patullo is public enemy number one. I get it. If they named the new offensive coordinator or a new play caller tomorrow, I'd be fine with it. I don't think he's done a particularly good job. But yesterday's game was turnovers, penalties, mistakes, missed opportunities like dropping an interception. It was a combination of everything. And I don't think the Eagles got conservative in the second half, as conservative as a lot of people like to believe they normally do when they have a lead. They tried throwing the ball. I mean, they had to have tried throwing the ball. Saquon barely ran the ball at all, in particular in the second half. So I don't think they got conservative. I'm not telling you that I think that their scheme or Kevin Patullo is a good play caller, because I don't think that he is. There's an art to it. And he's not in any type of a rhythm right now. So the Eagles' offense isn't in a rhythm. They were in the first half. They did a good job in the first half. Patullo did a good job in the first half. Putting an entire game together for this offense is impossible. They just can't seem to do it. And that would be criticism of the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and the entire offensive staff. Got to figure it out. Are they going to? I don't know. At this point, I don't really think you can count on that. Jalen says they'll figure it out. Glad he's saying that. They're still 8-3, and they're still very much in position to get to the NFC Championship game and the win. We'll see. We will see. Questions, comments, and suggestions. You'll see it pop up, and I will do my best to answer all the questions. What have I found to be the biggest difference in 97.5 since I was there? So I left the Fanatic in let's keep this up there. I left the Fanatic in 2016. October of 2016 was my last day there, and I returned in I guess it was in November, October of 2024. So 2025, so 9 years. I guess the biggest change is just that there's not a lot of callers to the station, which I don't particularly like. I am a radio talk show host. I'm not a sports radio host. I'm a sports talk host. There's a difference. I like taking phone calls. I don't need to create a topic where I'm making up an opinion to get phone calls. But I like taking phone calls, and I like the personality of our listeners and our callers. I believe it adds to it having a great show. So, every show on the station can do whatever the hell they want. That's fine. My show will always include phone callers, and I want it to include phone callers. It's just I don't know if there's less listeners now or listeners that just been trained that we don't take a lot of phone calls. But like I'm not even at the station 2 months, so definitely want to start digging in and figuring out how to get my show going and how to get regular callers. I need a whole new pool of callers. The guys that I had at WIP are WIP listeners. Not a lot of them transferred over to me to 97.5. OG Wade didn't. Chuck from Mount Airy's called me a couple times, and I appreciate that because he's trying to be loyal to me. And Herb calls me all the time, but there's separate audiences. There really are. So I would love to be able to develop and get some new callers involved. What do we got here? How did the WI crew take your comeback to radio? All okay. I heard from Jack, and I don't see why they wouldn't be okay with it. The only person I've really heard from was of the regulars was Jack. A number of others reached out to me that I'm still close with. I heard from John Johnson. Joe DeCamera reached out to me, people that I've known for a long time. So, and I have no issue with not hearing from anybody else, but I heard from a lot of people over there at WIP. So I was off the air for almost 2 years. So it's not like I left and then 3 months later I was like, oh wow, look, I'm at 97.5 The Fanatic. So I think everybody had a decent understanding of everything. Let me see here. Need to make up a character. Osware, you make up a character. We don't need to make up a character. Don't need to make up a character. I just I need to. When I was working with Sean before at the Fanatic, and Sean's now working with me at least once a week or so, but we developed our audience. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in 6 weeks. Sometimes it takes a year to where you really figure out what you are. Ray Dunn and I, my producer, we have really great chemistry and we work very well together so far. I know Harry, I know Sean. I'm working with Jason on Wednesdays, Jason Martinez. So I have people that I'm comfortable with and know how to do radio with. It's a matter of now, what's the show? What do we do? And everything else. So that'll be what we try to do going forward. It's, it's going to be challenging. We're going up against a monster. And I know that. And let's say that the score is 17-3. Well, 17-3, you score a couple touchdowns and you're tied. No, in baseball, 17-3, not football, baseball. We've got our work cut out for them. The only thing I can do is I can try to put on the best radio show and put on a better radio show than they do. And that's what I'm going to try to do. And that's what I'm striving to do all the time. Have I adjusted to many, many more commercial breaks? I have not adjusted to many, many more commercial breaks. And I do not like many, many more commercial breaks. And it is the biggest issue I have right now going forward. And hopefully that is going to be taken care of in the new year. But the commercial breaks, the 4 commercial breaks that I take an hour are impeding any type of flow to the show and is a major, major problem for me. And I appreciate the powers that be that have had many discussions with me about this, and I've remained honest with them, and they've remained honest with me. And hopefully, this is something that can change in the new year. But I do not like how many times we break per hour. I do not. Let me see here. Very hard to get in the rhythm. Segments feel like they're about 5 minutes each. Yeah, it's just kind of goes off what I was just saying right there. Once you kind of get going, and it's an abrupt stop. So I think there's numerous reasons why it happened. If you remember, they lost phone lines. The Fanatic, we lost phone lines before I was there, where they couldn't take phone calls for weeks at a time. So maybe that played into having the shorter segments and the longer breaks. Let's see what we have right here. I saw having Howard sit in for segments here or there. Howard Eskin. I love Howard. I would love to have Howard pop on from time to time. Maybe I'd have to ask him, but I don't know if he's going to. Like, he's not going to come in for a show or sit in for a segment. But could I get him on for a segment? Yeah, I mean, it's probably not likely, but yeah, yeah. But I love Howard. I'm a big Howard fan. No, I know not a lot of people want to hear that, but yeah, I'm a big Howard fan. Lot of whenever I open this up right here, I always get a mostly radio questions as opposed to sports questions, which I kind of like because it gets me a chance to talk about things that are more interesting. Black Gritty, I almost texted Black Gritty and said, "Yo, Black Gritty, you want to come on tonight?" But then I kind of ran out of time. I was doing some of my other freelance work, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to get this done tonight. And then I'm down here and I did a couple recordings, and then my oldest daughter is sick. It's like she's not feeling well, so she's upstairs, like about to puke in the toilet. And I run upstairs, and she didn't end up throwing up, thank God. And hopefully she's not going to. I don't know if she has a stomach bug, but that kind of stopped any kind of type of forward momentum that I had. But then I came back down. I said, I got to do this. I got to do this now. As far as how I feel about the Eagles right now, honestly, I'm not changed much from prior to the Cowboys game. What's changed? Honest question. What's changed? The offensive coordinator isn't great. The play calling's not crisp. The passing game doesn't look great. Jalen Hurts actually looked pretty good. The connection with A.J. Brown and Devontae in the first half looked good. Defense kind of got shredded, but I don't really blame them as much as I blame the circumstance. And Dak was firing the ball, and they were making plays, and you got to give them credit. It's a tough place. I don't know if it's a tough place to play, but like Cowboys were ready for it. They fought. They came back. But I would other than losing a game, and now they're 8-3, and they don't control being the number one seed in the NFC. What's really changed? People don't believe in the offensive coordinator. People don't necessarily believe in the head coach and solving the offensive problems. They're still a good team. The only team that I really feel like would beat them would be the Rams at this point. I don't buy the Packers. Lions, in Philadelphia, I don't know about the Lions. Anybody really in the NFC outside of the Eagles coming out and their offense totally sucking, I still think that they're the second or maybe the third best team in the NFC. Not a whole lot's changed losing to Dallas, other than it was a 21-point lead that they squandered. It was a horrible loss. It's an all-time meltdown by the Eagles. That's there. So if that affects you, which it's going to for Eagles fans for a couple of days here, which is totally fine. Yeah, it's annoying. But what really happened in the game to where you're like, oh crap, like no, the Eagles are screwed. I honestly don't feel any different about the team before that I do right now. Still think they're okay. Are they going to win the Super Bowl? Probably not. They can't run the ball. For all that Kevin Patullo sucks, and you're right, you're probably right. But, Kellen Moore being the savior. Oh, Kellen Moore. They'd be undefeated right now with Kellen Moore. Would they? Kellen Moore last year, who just essentially after the bye week said, we're going to run the ball with Saquon Barkley and Jalen's not going to pass the ball a lot. He's a better play caller than Kevin Patullo. But what would Kellen Moore look like last year if Saquon Barkley was getting 2-3 yards a pop? If that. It wouldn't have been winning any Super Bowls. That's for sure. So it sucks because there's nothing the Eagles can do that's going to satisfy Eagles fans than winning another Super Bowl. And it just feels like it's not going to happen now. Then that feels like that they're just a little bit off. The Rams have that look. Now we're only 11 games in, so we'll see. But the Rams definitely have that look. But outside of the Rams, who in the NFC is far superior to the Eagles? Vikings? Well, the Vikings suck. Seahawks? No. San Francisco, look out. San Francisco might be sneaky. They're 7-4. How about the NFC in general being top to bottom? San Francisco's holding the last playoff spot right now at 7-4. Detroit has the same record, so that could come down to tiebreakers. Now, the Bears may not end up winning that division, but if you're the number 2 seed, you don't get the bye. You could be playing a San Francisco. You could be playing a Detroit. or Green Bay, whoever doesn't win the North. So it's not going to be easy. This is going to be as far as the playoffs, a matter of matchups. Right? Last year, the Eagles didn't have home field. They ended up having home field because Detroit lost to Washington. What happens this year? I don't know. But I don't feel horrible about the Eagles. I don't. I just don't. Let's see what we got here. Let the foot off the pedal. But if you look at the run pass, they really threw the ball a lot. The biggest problem, and I don't have my notes from earlier, the biggest problem is that any type of momentum that they did get was gone because of penalties. You had the long reception to Dallas Goedert wiped out. You had the long reception to Devontae Smith wiped out because of the Fred Johnson legal hands to the face. You had where you had A.J. Brown. You were essentially in field goal range, and then you had the offensive pass interference, which was a crap call. But you actually had positive gains on good plays and good throws that got nullified because of penalties. Xavier Gibson, he fields the ball at the 1 yard line. It bothers me that he's still going to be on the team. He sucks. He shouldn't be on the team. He's shown you no reason, nothing. I'd rather have Britton Covey back there. So they made mistakes. Zach Bond, interception right in his hands. Flew right through it. Next play, CeeDee Lamb, 48-yard reception. Play that Cooper DeJean got pass interference. Same one, 48 yards. So Cowboys took advantage of those things. The Eagles didn't. Cowboys tried to give the game to the Eagles too. They didn't want to take it. Eagles couldn't even take it. Even the Cowboys trying to give them the game, the Eagles couldn't take it. So that sucks. Number 2 seed. Yeah, but you also have to get. So let's say right now, if the playoffs ended today, the Eagles are playing the 49ers. And 49ers with Christian McCaffrey, 49ers without wide receivers, but still, that's not going to be an easy game. San Francisco's good team. But yeah, like I'm not, as far as your main point here, which is going to Los Angeles to play the Rams. I'm not worried about home field for that. But it's one thing if it's in Philadelphia and it's cold. Like last year, it was snowing. Favored Eagles because they could run the ball with Saquon. You go to Los Angeles, you're going to have a controlled environment. You're not going to have the same type of weather that you could have in Philadelphia. It actually fits the passing game of the Rams a lot more. Just that they're a really tough matchup. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams looks unbelievable. Matt Stafford's having a hell of a year, so that's a really, really tough game. It is. All right. Michael says, any other radio guys you could see potentially getting involved in the show? No, probably not. So I have Sean and Harry. Harry's twice a week. When I started doing this and I asked Harry if he'd be involved, I said, listen, I'll give you 2 days to start. Tuesdays and Fridays. So that's kind of what we've been doing. Jason and Sean have been doing it. Jason has been like every week, every other week. Sean's had 2 Mondays in a row. Sam Wilson from formerly of The Fanatic, now from Bet Parks. I thought she did a great job. She was on with me once, but Amy Fadul comes on almost weekly. So I don't know who else I would get on. Once football season's over, I might start doing some early Saturday shows just to try some other people out. Like my guy Maniac Malloy from Bet Parks, I'd love to hear on a 2-hour weekend show. So it's possible that I get some more people in there, but it's right now I feel like that we have the guys and the gals that we're going to be doing it. More Eagles stuff here. Beating the Rams, law of averages waiting to kick us in the ass. Totally agree. I do not feel good about any matchup against the Rams. You have to look at it, just like keep it simple, stupid, which is how I live my life. When you beat a team that many times in a row and they were close in those games, they're going to be coming in with a different hunger. Like today on my show, Black Gritty called in, and he said that Saquon doesn't have that same hunger that he did last year. He's running out of bounds instead of trying to get that extra yard. He doesn't have that same pop to him this year. And if you ask Saquon that, he'd probably tell you you're crazy, but I see what Black Gritty's saying. You can't possibly have the same hunger when you failed. Think about Saquon Barkley. failed with the Giants, was mad as hell, and he went to the Eagles and, gave the middle finger to the Giants. He went out, had a 2,000-yard season, and won the Super Bowl. Right? Like, he was so motivated the entire year. When you win a Super Bowl and Saquon was on the banquet tour, Madden cover and everything else, right? Not telling you he didn't come in the camp in shape or anything like that. It's really difficult when you've climbed to the top of the mountain and you've won to do it again. When you lose the NFC Championship game, when you get beaten by the Eagles a couple times in a row, in the offseason, you're putting in those extra reps thinking about that. When you're tired and it's a game, you're like, you know what? We're not quitting. We got to beat these guys. It's really tough to keep beating a team that honestly is a better team than you right now in this year. So I would totally agree that I do not like that matchup against the Rams. Rams looking really good too. I love their defense and whatever. Well, I mean, listen, let me defend Beasley here for a second. We're in an industry where radio is trying to recover from COVID, and everything that happened before COVID. Beasley bought a bunch of stations. I never worked for Beasley. I worked for Greater Media. They closed on the station in 2000 and end of 2016, early 2017. I worked for CBS Radio when I first started working at WIP. They were acquired by Entercom, which changed their name to Odyssey. All of those things happened pre-pandemic, where you were paying a different price than what you'd be paying post-pandemic, because the advertising market has softened. The economy still isn't good. So radio companies are trying to figure out and say, hey, all right, listen, like, what is the new radio? What's the new norm? And through digital, like what I'm doing right now, radio's getting back to where they're not going to be needing to cut people, and where they are operating not at a loss, but at a profit. And that's kind of where we are right now in the radio game. And once the economy actually gets out of the toilet a little bit, I think we're going to be really good. But as far as the people that I work with, they are being paid. They are not volunteering, and they are not working for free. Everybody is being paid. So that is the case. And it's been fun being back on the air and get my feet wet back at the place where I started everything. It's cool when I walk in the building and I get to park in a parking spot in suburban Philadelphia where I don't have to pay city wage tax, and I don't have to pay for parking and everything else, and I can just park in a spot and walk right in the door and I'm in. And a lot of familiar people that I worked with before, that I still work with. And Pierre Robert passing away, and shout out to Matt Cord, who was named his successor doing middays at WMMR. Matt and I talked over the weekend, and he told me it was coming. But just the reaction of Pierre passing away, and just the community feel that the radio station gave off at WMMR, and it was with everybody that works for Beasley, was amazing. And it was really special to be a part of it. It was still, even I think it's been a month still. It's still very much with the station right now. All PHLY's concept will succeed in the long run. I mean, will they succeed in the long run? I can't answer that. I think they've done a really, really good job. Especially, honestly, since I've left, they've made some changes, and they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot of common sense things on their social media, on their Instagram and things like that, which I'm happy to see. That I was hoping that they would do when I was there, but they didn't. But the people of PHLY are excellent people, talented people across the board, and I'm rooting for them. I think they do a great job. It's like, this is the digital game. So for all the talk about ratings and everything else, I would actually, if I was put in charge of a radio station right now, my focus would be shifting away from worrying about what's happening over the air and concentrating on the digital aspect of it. What's the next thing? What are we doing next? Right? Radio ratings are important. Are they as important as they used to be? How many YouTube followers do you have? How many YouTube subscribers do you have? How do you monetize that? The fast channels that are on everybody's TV now, how do we get on there, right? So it's a much different world. Just in a couple years, the radio and everything has changed so much. So it's a much different world than back then. I didn't even see what was going on in the Monday night game. I saw that the 49ers were winning. I had the 49ers -7.5, and it's 20-9. So we're getting a cover with a couple minutes to go in the game. All right. Thank you for your questions, comments, and suggestions. Remember, subscribe and like to my social medias and my YouTube at Jon Marks Media and on the Fanatics YouTube page, as we got to get those subscriber numbers. We got to bump them up. So smash that subscribe button and look for me every week. I'll be doing a couple of these every single week. Until then, I'm Jon Marks and I'm out. See ya.